the first half. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne.
I think I got my swagger back. Oh.
I love it, baby.
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins. By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. McGrath for the win. He got it. If you don't like college football and you watch this one, I'm not sure what your problem is.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Sunday, February 2nd. I just love the way February. I don't know.
It's
Something
spelled.
about it. Yeah, makes no sense. Every time I spell it, I'm like, I'm dumb and this is dumb. That's bad. That's two negatives.
If my birthday wasn't in February, I don't think I could spell it.
I have to say it how I just
February.
To spell it.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of crazy. We're actually already in February, and this year's flying by. It's almost baseball. I mean, we're here. I feel like just yesterday, football season was starting. I can remember being in Fayetteville.
God.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry to bring that up, but crazy that we're here. I don't know, I'm not willing to say Tennessee's completely turned the corner because one game out of the last three, that's certainly not a trend, as we've learned about trends this year, but it's potentially a good sign. They'll look to continue what they did on Saturday and hope that they keep playing their best basketball here in February, March, and if they're playing in April, continue in April.
Yeah, college basketball is just insane. It makes zero sense. I mean, everybody, I'm one of those people that love betting college basketball because I enjoy watching it. But at the same time, it's like those people over in Vegas are just collecting money because it doesn't make any sense.
Speaking of the wildness of college basketball, it was going to be my fail because I just saw the clip. I hadn't seen anything else. Did you see what happened in Houston last night?
Is it the Houston Texas Tech game?
Yeah. Did you see what the events that unfolded, not just the box score? Because I hadn't even seen the box score at all. In fact, so 16 minutes left in the first half ish. JT Toppin was ejected for a flagrant 2. Got assessed a flagrant 2. Leading rebounder for sure. Maybe I'm sure some other. If he's a leading rebounder, I'm sure some other statistical importance there. Assessed a flagrant 2, ejected. Texas Tech coach earns a technical foul and then earns himself an early shower, gets tossed. Number 22, Texas Tech goes on to beat Houston in overtime, 82-81. I mean, mayhem. You get one of your best players and your head coach tossed 4 minutes into the game. Somehow, not only do you win, but it wasn't like one that they weren't just obviously running away with it. It's in Houston, number one. They take it into overtime and win. That's bananas.
I did see the call. Apparently the call was terrible. I don't know. I haven't seen that yet. I
haven't seen the video of it either. Yeah. I just apparently kicked some guy in the head, and the article I read said inadvertently.
Oh,
but obviously it was assessed to be not inadvertently.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah. his stat
Yeah,
line.
that's probably one of those rules where like you have 6'9" guys just like kicking each other in the head. We probably need to like cut it back a little bit.
I'm going to see the call before I make a stand.
Yeah.
But I got to think Texas
If it's
Tech
really
coach-
just a kick in the head, that seems like I'm okay with making that a flagrant.
yeah, no, if he kicked him in the head, probably.
Yeah.
But again, if it was inadvertent, I don't know. Anyways, I'm thinking Texas Tech coach was like, yeah, if he's out of here, I'm gone too. I will not be here for the rest of this one. But he did get ejected. So it was gonna be my fail because I watched the video of him getting ejected. He gets tossed. As he's being escorted off the court, he gets in an official's face. Well, maybe not quite because he is being escorted off by an assistant coach, but tries to kind of get into another referee's face, screaming at him. Then he turns around, runs back into the team huddle, gets them fired up, maybe a few, shoves to get them pumped up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, hey, dude, yeah, you have to go. You have been tossed.
And that was going to be a fail on his part or just a fail like.
Well, it was 4 minutes into the game. I didn't know the events of it.
Okay. Oh, gotcha.
I also didn't know that they had won at that point. Because to me, I was like, your head coach gets tossed 4 minutes into the game.
And you lose. That's
you definitely lost.
Yeah.
And you tried to fire your team up. Obviously, I mean, it worked. It carried them for 36 minutes and some change in overtime. Like it worked. That whatever he said and did worked.
Love that.
I guess I got to move it into most important. I'm sorry to do that before the show started. I was like, I know it can't be a fail anymore, so I'll go ahead and just talk about it. And
so you're saying that we should get. I mean, do we play games with Rick Barnes and Zakai Ziegler? Is that what's holding us back? Is that what you're saying?
play without them?
Yeah.
I think we need them both, just in the coaching capacity, apparently.
Okay. Yeah.
We don't know how they'll do and if they're ejected yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with finding out if we need to, but I mean,
well, that
whatever occurred last night or yesterday, I guess not last night. Whatever occurred yesterday. I'm not saying it's the only way, but it's a way for sure. Apparently.
Does Jordan Gainey kind of hate playing with Zakai Ziegler? I mean, we look at the Illinois game and then we look at yesterday, and you're like, I don't know, maybe he just a little desperation. He's like, you're playing a new position, and he's like, all right, my show now. I don't know.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I don't know. Not only how does a team face somebody that they just played awful against and got blown out by, they face that team without two starters, without their best player, and the engine of the whole operation.
Mm-hmm.
Not only win, we're not just talking about winning. I mean, a bludgeoning. And most, like a second, like they played good in the first half, and if they had played how they did in the first half, they would have won in the second half. But then the majority of the bludgeoning took place in the second half, and they played 7 guys, and not 7 guys who have been rotating all year, who are key contributors. Cade's not played a ton of minutes the last few games. And then you've got Bishop Boswell, who is like a 5-minute guy tops that you're relying on. It was I don't like that. It's one of those things that you really can't make sense of what occurred yesterday, because Tennessee should have lost that 10 out of 10 times. Yeah.
And Florida's coach, Todd Golden, was just like, yeah, I mean, if you'd have told me before the game, if we hold them to 64 points, we win that ball game. And they lost by 20. So, yeah, just insane how it all played out. I think Florida, they had 13 field goals in the game. 13, is that right? 13 field goals. Yeah,
13. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, the defense is always going to play, and that's why, like, even when Tennessee has lost some games and not shot the ball well, it's still been close because their defense keeps them in it.
Yes, the defense is always going to play. I didn't know it would not only play that well without Zakai Ziegler, but would force 13 turnovers off 7 steals. That is a stat that shocks me, missing Zakai Ziegler.
and you're losing your leading rebounder in Igor, and you got out rebounded in Gainesville a couple weeks ago by 20, and you end up winning the rebounding margin in this one. Yeah, just two totally different games of how they played out, and yeah, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, Florida's their lowest, I think, scoring output of the season was 70 points. They won 70-69 last week against South Carolina, and Tennessee just held them to 26 less than their season low.
Right. And I think, too, another impressive part, yeah, it required better games from pretty much everyone than they played recently, but not one real superstar. Like, you go down the box score, and there, like, who do you point to that just took over the game? It's hard to. I mean, obviously, Tennessee fans can watch it and say, well, Jordan Gainey, to some extent, because of the role he played that he doesn't normally play. Chaz Lanier shot the ball better. Felix Akpara just played an overall better game. But I mean, no one person just said, all right, I'm gonna be the guy today. I'm gonna take it over. Like it wasn't that, which I feel like normally when this type of game happens with two starters out and your best player out is how it would occur. That wasn't the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was unexpected. I think, even when Zakai and Igor were, I guess, expected to play before that came out on Saturday morning, you're thinking, this is a must win. Like, you have to win this game. You're a favorite, but I think just probably because you're at home.
Yeah.
And then what this team had done to you a couple weeks, I mean, they destroyed you. I mean, we talked about how Tennessee beat Florida in this one. I mean, that game was over at halftime. And this one, Tennessee's only down, or Tennessee's up 3.
Yeah.
Which probably felt more like 10 when both teams score combined 45 points in the first half.
Yeah, not a pretty first half, but I think that for me, I didn't know how that second half was going to go. Tennessee playing only 7 guys, and it's not like you had other guys down the bench that you thought you could go to in the second half either. No knock on them, just kind of the truth of the matter there. And I didn't know what that would look like. I mean, poor Darlington Dubar looked exhausted 4 minutes into the game. Worked his butt off. So, I mean, right, kind of earned that, right? But yeah, I wasn't sure how that second half was going to go, but I thought, okay, Tennessee has done what they needed to do so far to be successful. They've drugged them down into the mud and turned it into a rock fight. And that not only is the way Tennessee's going to win a lot of games anyways with that defense you talked about, but it's the only way they're going to win a game in the situation they're in today. The only way.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Todd Golden's right. You told me Tennessee scored 64 points with Zakai Ziegler. I would have said they lost this game, let alone without.
Yeah.
But they find a way. Hey, the guy's dug deep. I think this can be, Zakai's day to day. Igor, I guess, is day to day officially because I mean they thought he would. In fact, I didn't realize he wasn't going to be playing until I sat down and turned the game on.
Yeah. Yeah, his was, I guess, illness. So, yeah, I assume he's back at.
Oh, gosh. I mean, have we flushed the flu? I did just get everybody sick in our bye week next week. No weekday. No, or this week.
We play Missouri on Wednesday, I think.
So, next week, I think, is our bye week where we don't have a midweek game.
Okay.
Do we just get everybody sick? Just pass the flu around and get it out? Apparently it's going to get everyone at some point.
Maybe. I mean, we might play better. I don't know.
We still got a while for our bye week, so we got to weather this. We got to figure this one out.
Okay.
Quarantine everyone. No one can hang out with each other. Practice only. Travel only. Other than that, you're alone. Yeah, I don't know how you exactly make sense of this other than you just had guys step up. That's about it. And it obviously took Florida shooting poorly, but it's not like they were just missing wide open shots either.
Yeah, I mean Tennessee made things extremely difficult, and especially inside. It seemed like Florida in that first matchup, they just got to the rim with ease. And Cade Phillips had 3 blocks. Felix Okpara had 2 blocks. Dubar had 1. Meshack had 1. I mean, there was nothing coming easy for Florida in this one. And Tennessee's done well against top offenses. Like Auburn had 1. We muddied that one up, and then Florida was averaging 85 points per game until this game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, defense is going to play. Hopefully this is a turning point for Tennessee. And, I think I read where Jamal Meshack, like at practice, I think Rick Barnes mentioned this. He was like, we have enough. And so I'm like, I've been saying this whole time, like Tennessee's like depth is going to kill them. It's going to kill them. But, I think it just takes a little bit of them believing we do have enough.
Did he say that without we wouldn't have Zakai? He said that?
I think so.
That's crazy. Cool. But that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he made a believer out of me, I guess, because I did
right. I have no choice. I have no choice but to believe him now, but that's all. If I had heard that before, is he sick?
Yeah.
Someone get a thermometer on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if you could sustain any kind of run without Zakai. Saturday's awesome, and it's been proven they can do it when their back's against the wall. I don't know if you could sustain any type of run, but I mean, if Tennessee can build off this, and that's saying, we joke about Jordan Gainey. If Jordan Gainey can be that type of player with Zakai Ziegler in the game with him, that's going to carry you. You have a guy that goes to the basket. And we've talked about this. I'm not asking him to not shoot from deep. 1 of 5, okay. You sound to me, that tells me you took the shots you needed to take. Now he did shoot up 1. I know it was late in the second half that was entirely unnecessary and guarded. But I want him shooting from 3, but I also want him to be able to put his head down and go to the hole. And either you make the shot at the rim or you go to the free throw line. Like that, I want that. And that's where he's a better player, and he's proven that time and time again.
I'm okay with 1 for 5 if you're 5 for 6 from the free throw line.
Yeah.
But if you're 0 for 0 from the free throw line and 1 for 5 from 3, that's when I have an issue.
Sure. Entirely fair. And then, I mean, Jamal Meshack, willing to put his head down. You don't need a ton of points from him, a ton of production, but shoot when you're open. And when baskets are hard to come by, put your head down and go, especially when defenses are allowing you the opportunity to do so. And he took advantage of the opportunities he was given, and 8 points. Sign me up for Jamal Meshack, 8 points. Every other game or something, and 5 points, 5 and 8 every other game there. I think Tennessee's in a really good spot as long as he's taking those opportunities.
Mm-hmm. One thing I was kind of asked yesterday, do you think this team, like as good as Zakai is as the point guard, do you think like we're a little bit too passive when he's in the game because we're like, oh, it's got to come from him, basically. Like assist has to come from him. Like the ball has to be in his hands. Do you feel like that sometimes?
I don't think it's. I mean, I don't think the passiveness is because of Zakai, because I think Tennessee's offense is passive at times.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that's because of Zakai. I mean, we saw that the one that stands out to me is Chaz Lanier unable to get open with Bishop Boswell up top with late in the shot clock, and he has to fire off an errant 3. And like that to me was kind of a good example of what can happen in Tennessee's offense for stretches of time. Guys fail to get open and then kind of have to throw our hands up and go, all right, what do we do now? And thankfully you have Zakai Ziegler most of the time who can make it looked not as bad, in my opinion. So I don't know if that's a Sakai problem. I think he cleans it up more than creates the issue.
Yeah. I don't really know how because like Zakai rarely comes out of the games when he's healthy, so you don't really get a heavy dose of what this team looks like when he's not out there. But it does kind of like he creates so much, like you were talking about, like the end of shot clocks to dribble around, find somebody open, stuff like that. Just makes the defense move. I think there is times where like he passes it off, like that guy's still standing in that same spot when he got the ball.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, this team just came together yesterday. I don't really have an answer for, what is the magic piece. I think this team is plenty talented enough to make a run in March, and it's going to take some luck and some grit to do that, and they got the grit.
Yeah.
Can they get some luck along the way to because I mean, college basketball, there's not a UConn this year that's just head and shoulders better than everybody. Maybe Auburn is one of those teams, but I mean, Tennessee just went in Auburn and probably should have won that game.
Yeah, I think Auburn's not quite to UConn's level. I think to your point, they probably are the best team in basketball right now overall. But
yeah,
I think there was but to be fair though, I think UConn didn't look like the clear-cut national champion until later in February, maybe even almost tournament time.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember being back about this time last year and thinking, as far as from a Tennessee perspective, there's not a clear, there's a lot of really, really good teams. There's not a clear cut number one. And so UConn separated themselves. It could have been from this point on where they started to. I don't remember the exact timeline, but I remember being well into SEC play thinking there's a chance there. You put yourself in the right position, you could be there. So I think there's a similar spot there. Will it be Auburn that separates themselves? It'd be pretty impressive not wire to wire, obviously, but pretty close to wire to be one of the top teams in the nation in the league they play in. We'll see. But yeah, like you said, Tennessee almost won in their building, probably should have. Not, that's more of a knock on Tennessee, not a knock on Auburn or the officials.
Right.
But if you took it one way or the other, that's fine. But it's a knock on Tennessee. They got to finish that. Basketball is a wild ride, but it's also a Tennessee fan thing to go from wanting to fire Rick Barnes less than a week ago, maybe, to him doing what he did to number 5 Florida shorthanded. And some fans are still mad at Rick Barnes because he didn't have enough scholarship players this year. So that was an interesting take after the game Saturday.
Yeah, 7 players. I mean, that's not his fault. Cam Carr was not his fault. JP Estrella was not his fault.
And so you came into this year 1 scholarship player short now, correct? You had 11. Am I counting correctly? So you had 7, 2 out. That's 9.
11.
You had 10, Cam Carr 10, JP Estrella 11, right?
Yeah.
Is my math correct? You came in 1 short. We're really going to bitch at Rick Barnes about not finding 1 scholarship player somewhere?
Is it
in
really
a season?
12?
Yeah, it's about to go to 15, but it's 12 currently.
Okay.
And they were number 1 for how many weeks this year?
Yeah.
They look like they're going to be competitive, and we're going to bitch at them about 1 scholarship player.
Yeah, I think like if you're going to like be mad at anybody, maybe be a little upset at Cam Carr. I mean, that just seems like the dumbest decision. I know we've talked about it a little bit on here when that happened, but like even more so for this game right here.
Yeah.
I mean, this would be a perfect game for him to display how good he could be, and he just decided to not play basketball the rest of the season, which crazy.
Yeah, it's such a wild decision, and this is obviously a prime example, but there's been games this year that you're going, he would be registering minutes by default right now.
Oh yeah.
And like, not that Rick Barnes wouldn't have had a choice but to play him.
Mm-hmm.
It is a crazy decision.
I mean, Dubar wasn't even with the team for a couple weeks in the offseason, and he started yesterday.
Like 26 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's wild.
I do think it is good to have guys like Dubar and Boswell and Cade Phillips, guys who aren't, they have a role, but not a huge role per se on this team, to kind of see what they're capable of when they play more minutes. I thought
Yeah.
Cade made the most. Dubar, he didn't shoot the ball great, but he kept Tennessee in it a little bit in that first half when it looked like we couldn't score at all. And I mean, he had 3 assists, 5 rebounds. I mean, for a guy like that, that's basically in the game to shoot.
Yeah, and he just seemed to cover a lot of ground defensively. Not that he was necessarily one of Tennessee's best defensive players, but he seemed to cover a lot of ground, which is all you can really ask for when, like you said, he hadn't been with the team the full season. He's not been asked to do a lot this year. So to do that in that game, that's a back against the wall moment. And it was good to see Cade Phillips look more physical in the right ways. I don't know what's, he's obvious to me, he's banged up. Obviously he's wearing that on his shoulder, that sleeve, but their brace or whatever. I don't know if, again, I still think we could find out he's more injured than they're saying, and he's just having to play. So to just look kind of like as physical as he did before the injury is good. Not quite there, but more like himself is positive, and hopefully he can continue that. And he's not going to be asked to play 28 minutes very, very often when you're at as close to full strength as you can get. So hopefully he can do it more in those 15, 17 minute spurts.
Yeah. You just never know, when, I mean, as you can see, you never know what's going to happen. What in the world can you get out of these guys later on in March? It could happen like Kyle Alexander a couple years ago just didn't play. You need somebody to step up. Now you have a guy that like Cade Phillips who has shown you before he can play 28 minutes in a basketball game. Dubar can play 26 minutes in the basketball game if he needs to. Bishop Boswell can give you 11 solid minutes if he needs to.
Mm-hmm. I do need to ask as well. I need to respond to this guy. Was it you or Joey who tweeted WGWTFA, the video Joey took?
That was Joey.
Joey, if you're available, I just want to know, did you tweet that before Zakai Ziegler was announced as out or after? I'm not sure the timeline.
He said after.
Okay. I was just wondering if he was if he thought about deleting.
I mean, Joey knew.
No, we're not unacceptable. No, I was just curious. Regardless, you committed to it and you stayed with it and it worked. Someone even tweeted, "No, we're not," in response.
I love that.
And as the clock ticked, we're up 20 late, and I want to respond so bad. I'm like, what if we end up somehow?
Yeah. Let's hold off just a little bit longer.
And then I forgot to.
Do it now.
How?
I love a little.
Maybe tomorrow I'll just be like, hey, I didn't get to watch the game Saturday. What ended up happening? What happened?
Monty
what happened?
Brought up a good point that I kind of want to talk, hit on. He said when the three is an open, Lanier and Gainey must hit those elbow twos. They are both great at it. Man, if I could read. Odd. Yeah, I think that is something that this team seems to be good at, but maybe doesn't utilize it enough. I don't think so. But they did yesterday. I feel like they got to the rim. They hit those, mid range. Igor's another one that should be able to have that in his arsenal. Um, I know a lot of teams might, defend that, but also if they're defending that, they're not defending the three very well. And so you just got to, I know they didn't shoot great yesterday either, but it was definitely a lot better than the Kentucky game for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I agree with Monty there that they've got to be better at those. And when they are, Tennessee looks a lot better. And that was something Dalton Connect was really good at.
Yeah.
Chaz and like Monty said, Chaz and Gainey are maybe not at the same percentage, but they are good at that. And Tennessee's got to look at that more often.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good at coming off screens, and Dalton Connect, he was so good at it because, like, even if somebody was standing right there, he was tall and jumped so high in the air on a jump shot that he was getting the ball off regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another guy that impressed me, Felix Akpara, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks. A certain somebody at a different school now was, we were always scared to death when we faced a 7-footer, but Felix Akpara up for the challenge.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we can go ahead and say his name. Adu has to regret his decision, right? Has to.
I don't know or care if I'm being honest.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. I do enjoy going to look at box scores and seeing like a 0 under points. I'm like, this guy was all that.
He scored 0 points?
Yeah.
How many 3-point attempts?
I don't think any.
Sorry.
Yeah, I hate to see it.
That does kind of remind me, speaking of baffling transfers. Was I just scrolling on Facebook Marketplace today? Or I don't know where I saw it at.
Transfer?
Yeah. Someone was trying to sell a cleat signed by Jalen Hurd for $150, a Tennessee football cleat. I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah, it could be anything.
That is that ain't worth a penny now, buddy.
Yeah,
just
a real one.
Yeah.
Let alone even if that's his signature or not.
Right. You got to eat that. Keep it in there and just say you had it. I mean, it ain't worth anything. I won't pay for it, but if you just want to get rid of it, I'll take it off your hands, and it'd be a funny story.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll paint a Baylor B on there or something. I'll put it up with I'll take that Cam jersey or Cam Carr jersey off that guy too.
It is crazy. Jonas Adu and JP Estrella had the same amount of points yesterday.
Not only that, Jonas Adu played for 10 minutes and didn't even attempt a shot.
Yeah. 3 fouls though. He was making them earn it. He was trying to give away the game.
Yeah. He was almost incidentally Club Trillion, but it was a 10-minute instead of a 1-minute registered box score. But I mean, pretty dangerously close to Club Trillion.
I love that. Also love, man, what a rough day to be a Kentucky fan.
Can't do it. Feel bad for our boy. I told him today, I talked to him and I said, hey man, you know how I feel about Kentucky. He's a Kentucky fan, but you know how I feel. I'll never root for him. But I was rooting against Cal a little bit. I didn't want him to get that. So I feel for you. But
I saw a lot of Kentucky fans saying we were 11-point favorites at home and lost. I think they 10-point favorites.
I don't know, but they got beat by the X. You just gotta eat this one.
Hurts. It did give them Arkansas their second win in conference play.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah,
So still behind Vandy?
I think so.
Okay, climbing the rankings or the standings.
Yeah. Moving on up.
They are behind Oklahoma, Texas, Mississippi State, Kentucky,
Is LSU, do they have a win
and
in the
Vanderbilt.
conference?
They have one conference win.
Who did they beat? They beat South Carolina?
Probably. If that, I'm not sure.
Yeah, what about 11 ranked teams losing yesterday?
I didn't realize that. That's wild. Is that similar to the SEC stat? Feels like a lot. I feel like you've had a lot of ranked matchups yesterday. A lot of ranked matchups yesterday.
So Jordan Cup, he's a good friend of mine. He is a Florida fan. So Jordan, I appreciate you coming in the chat, man. I know this is probably not a show you want to listen to, so I do appreciate that. That means a lot.
So you said 11 ranked teams lost yesterday, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, better than I thought. So it looks like 4, 5, 6. One of those being Vanderbilt, who got thumped by Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of bludgeonings, what I say? So 6 of the 11 were losses to non-ranked teams.
Yeah.
So not quite the SEC 54 and 54.
Gotcha. Yeah, so
I just knew there were quite a few ranked matchups yesterday.
Ole Miss lost. Kansas State beat the brakes off Iowa State. And then Jerome Tang, like as they were coming in the locker room, was like, "Hey, we have to play them again. Calm down. We have to play them again." And then they celebrate in the locker room like they won a national championship.
I feel like that's okay.
Yeah, whatever.
In the locker room.
Yeah, maybe just don't post it.
Sure.
Like
that's
that.
probably not a good idea.
Florida. I don't remember who they.
We can get Ross Kivitt's take on that too.
On Houston?
On Kansas State.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the Houston thing from earlier.
We could also get his take on that too. But we'll give him a win and a loss to talk about.
Okay, I like that. Michigan State lost to USC.
Ooh, we can also get his take on Texas Tech.
Okay.
Personal experience. That's 3 personal experiences we can ask him about. Kansas State, Houston, and ejections.
Is Michigan somewhere on here too? I'd love to ask him about that too.
They're not, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, they were not ranked. I know that.
Right.
So maybe we can get his take on why they're not ranked. Yeah, Vanderbilt. Don't think they're going to be in the top 25 anymore. Hate to see that. Louisville, that looked like a good win, but Georgia Tech beat them, so they're probably out of the top 25.
We're still going to call it a good win.
Okay. That's fair.
Monty mentioned Missouri is a scary opponent. Missouri is a better basketball team than I thought they would be.
Dude, they play like 12 players. They play a lot of people.
They do still wear those god-awful yellow jerseys, though.
They do.
So keep that in mind when you think about them.
We are Mizzou.
Yeah, no, they're a good basketball team. They actually beat that Florida team on the road by 1. But they beat solid. They beat Ole Miss. They obviously beat Mississippi State soundly yesterday. But they've got a pretty ugly loss to Auburn. looming there, and a pretty ugly loss to Texas where they were only able to score 53 points. So I mean, it's a like a lot of SEC teams, maybe good, but flaws as well. So yeah, going to be a tough one, but certainly not unbeatable, and apparently not unbeatable even if you're missing Igor and Zakai.
Yeah. Yeah, Bates is really good. Like, they got a lot of older players. There's just a lot of transfers, not a lot of guys you've seen at Missouri forever. Tamar Bates is their leading scorer. I think he also kind of plays their point guard. Caleb Grill is their 3-point specialist, shooting like 49%. The games that they've lost so far this year are the games that he's struggled in. So that might be a one to watch. I think he was 0 for 5 against Memphis. I think he was 0 for against Auburn, and then 0 for in the last game or maybe 1 for 5 in the last game that they lost. And then Josh Gray is their leading rebounder. If you remember that name, he was at South Carolina for 20 years, and now he's at Missouri. So Mark Mitchell's another guy, transfer from Duke, that averages 12.8 points per game. So, yeah, I think they're a pretty decent older team that, has a lot of good pieces. Like, they're not bad, but there's no superstars on that team either that you just need to, other than Grill if he like has a Jack Golke game. But yeah, I think it's a winnable game. It's at home, so that makes me feel better. And I think if you're able to kind of stop them from shooting threes, I think Tennessee should take care of business.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they do have a player on their team named Tony Perkins.
Okay.
Do you know what that is from, Tony Perkins?
Tony Perkins.
Mm-hmm.
No. Doesn't sound familiar.
Well, we played at Iowa for 5 years. Sorry, 4 years. Now he's at Missouri. So I guess he likes gold and black. Those are probably two of his favorite colors. But
Would
Tony
you
Perkins
call Missouri or Iowa gold?
Or yellow?
Yellow. They're not gold.
Yeah, whatever they are. It's ugly, whatever it is. I guess Vanderbilt's more gold. Yeah, they're yellow. Whatever.
Yeah, they're yellow and black.
Tony Perkins is the camp director on heavyweights.
Okay.
He's been still
same guy.
Not
willing to count it out.
I haven't seen them in the same room, so I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Tony Perkins. This Tony Perkins might be a little darker than the Ben Stiller character, but I don't know.
I like Monty's comment. Do not let Grill start cooking. Solid. A-. I like it.
Little dad joke in there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, big game Wednesday. Let's keep that rolling, please. Tony Perkins.
But I would also be okay with getting Zakai and Igor back, and then also keep it rolling. That would be okay with me.
Yeah, I think Gainey and Meshack and Cade Phillips, maybe Dubar, kind of, they hired expectations, so Rick Barnes is going to expect a lot more of those guys moving forward, so I hope they're ready for that.
Absolutely.
Let's roll. Let's keep winning.
We talk about how annoying it is that Duke not only has one good white guy, but now two this year. Just really good white guys. I just saw that score when I was scrolling through the scores.
Oh, yeah.
Of that Duke North Carolina game. That's frustrating.
The Con. Newpel, or is that how you say it?
I don't know how you say his name. Good question. Is it a Knoxville situation? Silent K?
Yeah, KN.
Does that automatically make it a silent K?
That's how I would say it.
Okay, fair enough.
You have Kahn and Cooper. God, they were born to go to Duke.
Is Hubert Davis done?
Probably. He's horrible.
Is Roy still showing up to the games? Is he still sitting in the second, third row?
Maybe he was at some other game not too long ago. I don't know why. He was wearing like Samford colors or something.
Stanford or Samford?
Samford.
He was at a Samford game?
I think so. It was something like that. It was something strange. It wasn't North Carolina. I don't know.
Huh. Interesting.
No clue.
Makes me wonder. Maybe not, but I'm thinking, how often he hangs out behind the bench. I didn't know if he'd just float back into the takeover or something.
Yeah, two of the best players in college basketball. One's from Maine and one's from Wisconsin. That's wild. Yeah, Cooper Flagg's really good. I hate that he plays at Duke, but he is really good.
Monty confirmed he was at the UNC game. I figured he's always there.
Yeah. We do have a question kind of about basketball before we move on. Do you feel any different about Tennessee in March after this Florida game?
I don't know what to feel about Tennessee in March, so I don't really have, from my perspective, it's pretty hard to gauge what they're going to do. You just, unfortunately, have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Florida game confirms that for me, I guess. It's hard to predict what this team's going to do.
Yeah, and I think, when you say that, you could be a fan of any team in the country. You have just no clue what's going to happen, who catches fire. I don't know. You want to be your most consistent self as you get into March, and hopefully Tennessee can start looking like that. I mean, right now it's just like they've been inconsistent, so I don't think you have a ton of expectations going into the NCAA tournament, but also who does besides Duke and Auburn right now.
Right. Jordan, yeah, I mean, the way Auburn's playing, there's a chance they could finish undefeated. They are playing good basketball and finding ways to win.
And they don't play Tennessee at home.
And they don't play Tennessee at home, but they do have a tough stretch to end the season. So I wouldn't bank on it based on that stretch, but it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
It was also funny to see a Auburn beat writer get upset because someone tweeted that Auburn escaped Ole Miss with a win. He's like, escaped? Did you see the score? Or did you even watch the game? It wasn't even close. I don't know if he knows what escaped means. They didn't say narrowly escaped, barely escaped. They just said escaped because it was a road game. They left the environment. Another way to say that is they escaped with a win. And yes, I would say they escaped Ole Miss with a win. Not barely. They beat them, but they've escaped a lot of games with wins. Whether it's been narrowly escaped or they were never found out in their escape. They've escaped.
And they've narrowly escaped a couple games.
They have narrowly escaped a few games. But I think that's also kind of the mark of a good and consistent team is finding ways to win when it's tough. I mean, I think the Tennessee game is a great example of that. on the game winner, what ended up winning them the game, that they can't find a score down low, and then finally is able to knock down a 3 when they kick it out.
And don't get a walk called.
Sure, that helps, but I'm also not banking on Tennessee doing anything offensively with it. I look at that game and I can objectively say Auburn they were able to kind of dig their heels in a little bit better than Tennessee. I think they had some help, but I mean, that's part of the game, right? It wasn't just completely one-sided. Broome got some calls, but I think if you watch Tennessee basketball enough, defensively Tennessee gets some leniency often because of the way they set the tone. It's also really annoying for refs to decide we're not going to play this brand of basketball with 6 minutes left in the game when they let you play that way for the whole entire game. It's frustrating. But I mean, I don't think Tennessee lost the Auburn game because of the officials.
Yeah. And they barely beat Georgia. They barely beat South Carolina, and they barely beat Tennessee. In Georgia, we thought Georgia was pretty good after they beat Kentucky and Oklahoma to start SEC play, and then they lost 4 straight. And I think they beat South Carolina and then got destroyed by Alabama yesterday. So I don't know who is really good in the SEC besides, I think, Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida. Maybe and Kentucky probably is up there too. Other than those, I don't know if any other team is really good. Like Mississippi State, I don't think they're a top 15 team. I don't think we'll see about Missouri. I don't see them as a huge threat in the conference. Georgia's not. Ole Miss, I don't think is. Texas, Oklahoma, I don't think is. So, it is funny. At one time, it was like 8 SEC teams were ranked. I think maybe 6 are probably deserve a ranking and will probably be in contention for those 4 spots in the SEC tournament. But other than that, I don't think it's as stacked as people thought it was. Now they will go 54 and 54.
I don't think it's stacked, but I mean, I think it's really competitive. I think it's really difficult.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's a really deep conference, but I don't think necessarily similar to what your point about top 25, top 15 teams. It's not loaded with really good teams, but I think it's full of competitive and good teams, just not really good championship teams.
Yeah. It's fun though. Every time there is SEC games, there does seem to be an upset, and so you kind of bring it every night to have a chance. And I think this was a good game for Tennessee. Like, you want to be a 2 or 3 seed heading into or possibly even a 1 seed heading into the NCAA tournament. This was a must win to kind of get to that point. You want to all the games at home you can get, you need to steal those away because nothing comes easy on the road. And then who knows what happens in the SEC tournament. And then seeding wise, Tennessee doesn't have the greatest when it comes to the greatest luck when it comes to seeding. So you need to do all that you can to kind of make your mark.
Right. All right.
Narrowly escaped. Or escaped.
Just escaped. I'm not going to use that term after every game.
Yeah.
Which I think you could, but you don't always.
Right.
I would say Tennessee escaped the Florida game. You're down 2 starters. I would say no matter what the outcome is, you escaped it.
This would be easily escaped, right?
This would just, you could say easily escaped, or you could just say escaped because that's also true.
Yeah.
But you could also say easily escaped in this one, yes.
Yeah. All right. Anything else for basketball?
No, I'm good.
All right. We had some news regarding the NCAA. Looks like they came to
Officially dead?
a settlement. Yeah, I mean, pretty much officially dead. I mean, the details and stuff weren't in there, but it looks like they lost, right? I mean, it's kind of over with that they can't go back on the enforcing its rules of NIL and stuff like that. So yeah, basically just hey NCAA, again, since you forgot to realize you have no power.
Right.
And it just made like you didn't have no rules to begin with. This is over and done with. Like if you really wanted this stuff to be in place, you should have done it before you allowed name, image, likeness to happen.
Right. Yeah. Nah. NCAA sucks. I don't know what to.
Yeah, there's not. I mean, I guess there's really not a lot of news.
I do have a question for you that I know we're gonna talk about. I don't unless you want to add something to the NCAA, really, but to specifically NCAA. But speaking of just them cowardice and their rules make no sense and whatever. Explain the entire Alberto Osuna situation to me.
Okay.
I know it has something to do with Diego Pavia's rule, Diego's law, we're going to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know the full.
Yeah, so he was at Walter State for 2 years, then transferred to North Carolina for 3. He was out of D1 eligibility, so he was going to play at Division II Tampa this season. But now that rule was opened up by Diego Pavia, he's I guess not cleared yet, but expected to be cleared and will receive eligibility.
Okay.
And he was the
But he technically you said he was at North Carolina for 3 years. So
correct.
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah. So yeah, spent 2 years at Walter State. He was the best JUCO player in the country. Whatever that award is. I think he was Offensive Player of the Year, hit like 450, 25 home runs, like 107 RBIs in that season. And just was a DH. It was an option at first base for North Carolina. There was 1 year, I think his sophomore year there, he hit 20 home runs. Last year he hit 14. I think he hit around, let's see what he hit. I think it's for his career. He's batted 259. In 2024, he batted 281 with 14 home runs, 56 RBIs. So just another added bat. I think when
and this is a first base ad, correct?
Yeah, first base DH is kind of what he's going to play, and it just it's a big pickup because of what you lost with Alex Perry, being a first base option number one, but also being another right-handed bat. Tennessee has a ton of lefties in that lineup right now, so want to add some right-handed power to it, and Alberto Osuna, I think is how you say it. It's just a right-handed option, and he's going to come here and he's going to have to win a job. Like I mean, Dalton Bargo and Levi Clark, who's a freshman. They're not going to. Hunter High is another guy that I think is an option at first base. Andrew Fisher's played there a little bit. So yeah, those are kind of like. I mean, he's going to have a lot to beat out to earn that spot, but it's kind of all about depth, and your best guys are going to win a job, and competition's good because competition helps
Breeds excellence.
everybody on. Yeah, and you win a national championship because of it. So, you
Is
know,
that you predicting a national championship?
yeah, sure. But yeah, I think it is a big get just because of you have that added power, and another righty and a first base option after losing Alex Perry. And this late, like I don't know how big of an impact he's going to be, but a guy that obviously has experience at a top program like North Carolina, was in the College World Series last year. So I think it is a big get, like Monty was saying. And thanks to Diego Pavia. I mean, because of him, it seems like everybody is benefiting, and Vanderbilt just gets another mediocre quarterback for a couple years and get to lose to everybody else benefiting from that same role. So
Sure. Yeah, I
appreciate
agree.
that.
Shout out to Diego.
Jordan Cup says, do you all know if Zane Denton is still with the team? He seemingly disappeared when Amick transferred last season. Yeah, I was dealing with some, mental health issues going on. So he is recently transferred to Austin P. He will be at
I
Austin
hadn't heard
P
that.
this year.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Gotcha. Well, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else for baseball you want to add?
Not a whole lot. I'm 12 days until the season gets here. We should have some other big guests. I don't know if they'll be as big as Tony, but they're going to be entertaining. So looking
I would say
forward-
bigger, but if you wouldn't say that, that's okay.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't tell him that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it to his face.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, we'll have some big guests. So stay tuned for that as we get deeper and closer to baseball season.
Yeah, it's almost here. Monty said it, 12 days. It is right around the corner. Rest up, because if recent history is any dictator, it will be a long season, and it drag on it in the right word. It's always good when the baseball season is long, but it'll wear you out, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, Monty. Appreciate that. If you guys haven't listened to the interview with Tony Vitello, make sure you go do that. It's over on our YouTube page, and go ahead and subscribe while you're there.
Yep.
And if you're already subscribed, just maybe resubscribe, subscribe, and leave a comment somewhere. Tony Vitello interview or any other video.
There you go. Yeah. Prove that you were there at one point.
Yep. I want to see a notification from you, please.
Do have a couple more questions here. One says, if you could have one food for the rest of your life, what is it?
A singular food is
Yeah.
probably like pizza. That seems like an kind of all-encompassing for me.
Yeah, I think I'd probably go with pizza too.
I can do a lot with pizza.
Or a little ACP probably. I could do that probably every meal. I mean, my stomach would be destroyed, but I could do it.
Fair. I don't know if I
I
could.
thought
do
you would go
ACP every
steak.
meal.
That's what I thought. You're a big steak guy. I thought you would go steak.
I am, but think about like that. I don't have that kind of money to do that all the time.
Well, I mean, money's out of it.
Money's out of it. Steak would be
Yeah.
great. I mean, if you told me, if someone sat me down like, hey, bud, we got to talk. Powers it be. This world has been taken over by the tech billionaire elite, and they said you can only have steak the rest of your life. I'd walk away, act sad and disappointed, so they'd know that they lost. But man, that would be awesome.
They lost that trade.
Yeah. So Elon, if you want to take over the world and ruin everyone's life, just ruin my life by making me eat steak for the rest of my life. That'd be okay. It'd be a-okay with me.
Yeah, I was trying to think of anything else. Like what about a snack? If you could only have one snack.
Ooh.
I think I got to go like the jalapeno cheddar Cheetos.
Okay.
Love those. I'm on a big. My wife got me these strawberry yogurt covered almonds.
Yeah,
I'm
those are
not
good.
I'm not usually a big almond guy, but anything strawberry sign me up. So I've been getting a few handfuls every time I walk by the pantry.
I'm a snacker, and I have I keep the pantry stocked with different snacks.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. And see, I'm probably like, again, I'm trying to cheat the system. I'm trying to cheat the. I'm probably just going give me cheese and then just like the club brand crackers, and
Okay.
hopefully I can choose different cheeses to keep the variety
Cheese in a
going.
bottle or just like
No, not the spray cheese, just like
yeah.
blocks of cheese that I can cut up, kind of deal. Again, I'm trying to cheat your system a little bit. Don't make me choose one type of cheese.
Okay.
Um,
I feel like chips and salsa, chips and queso is probably
chips
a
and
good snack.
I'd probably go chips and salsa because, like you said, similar to ACP, the tummy would not love me eating queso
Yeah.
often. I think it could handle salsa, but I don't know about queso. I do love snacking. In fact, we got some ice cream last night that I forgot about, and when you mentioned that, I was like, "Oh, I've got a carton of ice cream in there that I'm gonna get into tonight." Big snacker.
Yeah. I haven't been, but I have those certain few like days where I'm just like, you know what? I've earned this.
Here's I guess a good one. If I was told you can choose to have 3 meals a day at the same time, so like you know, eat breakfast at 8, lunch at noon, dinner at 6 or something, or you can only snack. Those are your options. So you cannot eat it all outside of your 3 meals, or you
Mhm.
can snack and never eat a full meal. I'm choosing snacking. I love snacking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would go opposite.
See, but I think you can snack, and
But I only eat 2 meals.
I'm just saying, I feel like if you're going to say no snacking,
Yeah.
you probably got to throw that one in too, because I normally only eat 2 meals as well.
Yeah. You're not a big breakfast guy. I enjoy breakfast. I just don't.
I don't need it ever. Like I don't. I'm sure I'd probably be a lot healthier if I did eat it.
Yeah.
But I
Well, I
don't feel
wouldn't
like I
because
need it.
what I want for breakfast is not healthy.
Sure. I mean, really, what I eat all the time isn't healthy. So
Yeah. Yeah.
all right.
Couple more questions. So basketball is getting the renovations. We saw that. What's one thing selfishly for you that you would add to it? Doesn't have to. It could be anything crazy. If you could add one thing like the basketball experience.
I don't want to add to it, Landon, and I'm really upset about this. The
Okay.
one thing I would do in this change is I would keep the classic statistical scoreboards up in the corners.
Oh, are they getting rid of those?
It sounds like they're putting video boards up in the corners, so it sounds like they're getting rid of them. Isn't that upsetting?
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind if they kept so they like 1 and 1 and then 1 and 1.
Yeah.
You get 2 of each. That'd be cool with me. But you need the classic scoreboards. Yeah, it's devastating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you need all those video boards to play with 7 players?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
One thing for me, I would have more, and I don't know if this is just like a renovation or anything. It's not. I would have more like promotions.
Like baseball,
Yeah.
like a minor league baseball.
Yeah. Yeah. Like there's so many, and like even like college baseball has a lot of them where like you get a free T-shirt or like they're doing this, they're giving away sunglasses to the first. Like, I feel like basketball doesn't do that at all, and especially those like first non-conference games, like where you really just want people to come and you don't.
Yeah.
Or hey, a $2 hot dog. If you come to us playing Carson Newman on a Thursday exhibition game,
Okay.
I feel like a lot of people would come to do it.
I joke. I would. I like the video board. Update the video board. I don't love the club level unless it adds the concourse. Are they going to do that?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't read like the whole thing.
I didn't either. They're adding a concourse, or I mean, adding a club level.
Yeah.
I will say everyone wants to fix the energy and noise problem in Thompson Bowling, and I think there needs to be some changes. I think it's difficult because I think the setup of it doesn't really make the fix easy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to do these renovations, I think you follow the Clippers and you do the wall. You do a small version of the wall, and that is a student section, and you can even, if you make it bigger, you can do a ticketed area for it. And that's going to carry a lot of noise.
Yeah.
I think you got to address it somehow. I think they've tried and it's just not quite worked.
When it's happening everywhere, like you're getting these club level sections and it's people that pay a lot of money and cool, but they aren't the religious fan that is going to scream and yell. Like they go there and they eat and they, drink and they sit inside when it's cold, and when it's too hot, they go inside, and, when it rains, they're inside. So it just, I feel like all sports are kind of having that where it's like they would rather have money than the whole like lower section be filled to the brim. Which
Right.
basketball is probably a little different because it is a shorter amount of time. So those seats probably be filled more a lot. But football, like that club section over there, that infuriates me.
I think the not an easy fix, but I think a fix to that is you sell not cheap, but you sell standing room tickets only. And so you don't allow, it would move those people that have the seats. They wouldn't be able to stand down there on that wall because there would be standing room only. You have to have a standing room only ticket to be able to stand there. Because I mean, you look at photos and yeah, people are inside fairly often or not there at all.
Mm-hmm.
But then you look along that wall and there's 60, 70 people standing along the wall.
Yeah.
That bought a seat and it looks very empty.
Well, it's like it used to, all the money was in the suites, but now everybody wants to pay more money to sit closer. And so it's, I don't know, just I guess a difficult situation. As an AD, I get it. Like you want as much money for your program as possible, but to the expense of the atmosphere, it kind of sucks.
Right. Yep. I like Joey's suggestion. Bleachers and troughs in Thompson Bowling Arena. You know me. I'm in, buddy. Sign me up.
Well, I mean, I don't know why they can't do a club section like, the top or the very like lower section of the top part where it's like those chair backs.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like by themselves. Why can't that be more of like a club section? Why mess with the lower bowl? Like, I mean, you have those older people that sit the entire time and they're never going to clap. They're never going to cheer, anything like that. So I don't know if you're really hurting the atmosphere by putting a club section in there because it's going to be the same people.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't love the idea of moving. You already have the richest on the floor, I guess. You want to get more rich people in there, so you got to make more space for them. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, that's at what point does that kind of like make people. And when you're winning, I guess it's easy to just continue to buy tickets. But if you have some losing seasons in there, people stop buying tickets and they're like, I'm not getting them because, I mean, I'm not the richest of the rich, so I got to sit up top, and I'd rather just sit at my house.
Right.
When does it get to that point? I don't know. Idiots like us keep buying them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem. We're
Yeah.
all suckers. I also would fix the outside first. That'd be before I fix the inside.
Yeah.
The inside's okay. It's good enough right now.
Paint the thing.
No, Landon, don't paint it. Don't give him ideas. It would look awful anyway with that cheap siding. I mean, it looks like a Smith-built home out there. Like, just make it look better. I don't know. I don't know if you go like Chattanooga aquarium vibes with the glass. I think you could. It just looks awful. Fix it.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of bricks that we had against Kentucky, you probably could have bricked the whole thing in.
Be better than what you got now.
Yeah.
I mean, why not just make it look like it pretty much looks like a conspicuous building anyways. Just make it look like one of those like downtown warehouse buildings that has servers or something. Just go full on commit to the inconspicuous building bit.
Or just like let those people that draw those or that make all those murals, just have them have at it for an afternoon or something. I mean, I'd rather just be like spray painted with just a bunch of different stuff than
dicks all over it.
Yeah. That's what it would be if you gave people. I mean, that's what I would do. If I wasn't a Tennessee fan, I'd be like, oh yeah, I know what I'm drawing.
I'll pay $150 for an hour of painting.
Yeah.
All dicks.
Yeah. How many do you think you could paint in an hour?
In an hour? Oh man. Easy. I don't it is not a calculable number. In high school, you learn to draw them real fast and get out of there. So you just got to take that methodology through into that.
Yeah, it wasn't me. What about we have one more question. This is about football. What are your predictions for the starting 3 wide receivers next fall? Boo Carter.
You think Boo Carter's starter?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. I mean, Mike Matthews for sure. I guess Brazel.
Yeah.
Is it Braylon Staley? I mean, is it?
That's what I thought. That's probably what I would go with.
Do you think they hope to get Amari Jefferson up? I mean, you just don't know anything about him. You know way more about, maybe not way more. You know more about Braylon Staley than you do about him.
Yeah, I mean, he set out all last year. He was injured with a hip injury. I don't know what a hip injury, like what effects does that have on somebody? I don't know. I mean, we know about ACLs. We have no clue about hip surgery.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And then you have these freshmen like,
I was gonna say, is it Travis Smith? Like,
well, I mean, Travis Smith is going to be an outside guy. So is he over Mike Matthews or Chris Brazel? I don't know.
There's no way.
That's what I thought.
He's over Mike Matthews.
No. Yeah.
I mean, it's just not
Can't
possible.
Can't be. Yeah, I don't know. And then what role does Boo Carter have? I don't know. We don't know.
I don't know.
We know nothing about hardly any of these guys. The only one we kind of know about is Chris Brazel, and he was super inconsistent last year. So I don't know. You just hope it kind of works out, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all I got for you. Hope it works out.
I mean, I don't think it could get any worse than what it was this year at receiver. So
Yeah.
All right, you want to do some most important?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
First one, my Friday night, I used that time to watch our boy Chris Nichols on Jeopardy. I did have the episode recorded. Still record every episode.
Okay.
Good performance. He didn't win, but it was a good performance, good episode. And it got me thinking that it's kind of odd, Landon. We now they're two friends of the pod that one's competed on Jeopardy, and then Joey's mom. Did she win Wheel of Fortune? Right? She won her episode of Wheel of Fortune. Here you go. Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Mom.
Yeah, that's nuts. So we still got to get her on to talk about that. Get that experience going. But yeah, no, it was fun to. I tweeted out the meme of Leonardo DiCaprio doing the point, like I know him.
Mm-hmm.
That guy. Yeah, that was the feeling. It's okay.
Well, I was thinking Buddy the Elf when Santa's
I know him.
coming. So the Pro Bowl is not interesting at all, but so the biggest story to come out of the Pro Bowl was Marshall Manning throwing dimes on the field.
Yeah, what is going on? I'm going to be honest. I knew he was playing football because Peyton's talked about coaching, but I didn't know he was a Pro Bowler.
Yeah. Also, I can't tell if he's like 10 or like 15. Is he like young? How old
he is? He's probably about 10, 11.
Okay.
10 or 11, yeah.
I mean, everybody kept saying like, "Oh, he's a Longhorn." He's a Longhorn? No.
That's I don't. If he's
I'm not saying he's a for sure Vol, but he's not a Longhorn.
Y'all
are the only school that let a Manning go 2 years and not play him.
Right. It would. I love Peyton Manning so much. I would hate if our fans
hated Marshall.
Ruined that.
Yeah.
I think. All right, let's say Marshall Manning, number one recruit in the country. He's Arch. He's that level.
Mm-hmm.
If he commits to Tennessee, I think we have to have a family meeting. All, however many there are in the world, we all have to have a meeting. This is a player-led meeting. No coaches involved, no administrators. It's fans only. And we just have to agree, like we got to ride this out, guys. Whatever happens. We just got to ride it out.
Yeah. There'll be no negative tweets.
Yeah. We will actually text buddies on this one.
Yeah.
Say whatever you want behind his back.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows what actually happens at that point, but it is cool to talk about. I mean, we thought Arch was for sure in to come to Tennessee, which his dad didn't even come here. So I don't know why we thought that, but whatever. He seems happy. Texas seems happy, I guess.
Good for everybody.
Yeah. But Marshall Manning's a ball.
He's got a lot of Tennessee gear.
He does.
It'd be hard to not be in his, not for Arch, obviously, like for the reasons you stated. It'd be hard for him to not be a Tennessee fan. He's gotten drugged to a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was there in Omaha.
Yeah.
It would be sick if they brought the 16 out of retirement for.
Oh, no. What about the Quentin Dormady sleeves?
Oh, yeah. No, I think he plays in a visor like Rick Clausen. Yeah, I'm all in on Marshall Manning.
He's got a twin sister, I'm pretty sure, right? She's got to be a stud.
What'd she play?
I don't know. I don't know about. I really don't know about Peyton's kids. I don't keep up that passionately. Didn't his wife play something at Virginia?
That was Arch's mom, right?
At Virginia?
I thought so.
No, she went to Virginia. Peyton's wife, Ashley.
Oh, okay.
He does have a twin sister. No comment on if she played sports. So I'm gonna guess no.
Okay.
What?
I mean, I just love how this. Nothing about the Pro Bowl. Actually, shout out to the Pro Bowl
for
bringing Marshall Manning for somebody to care about the actual Pro Bowl.
Yeah, we've got huddle clips now on him. Thank you.
Yeah.
We can study film.
Yeah. Yeah, can you tell by that clip if he's a pocket passer or a dual threat? Do we know?
I'd say at this stage he's probably got some. He's got some movement to him,
Okay.
but if he hangs around Peyton too long, he may lose that. It'll be tough.
I mean, he's got to move better than Peyton, right?
Right now?
I'm talking like when he's in college.
Peyton could move in college. I don't know. I mean, he wasn't a dual threat, but
yeah. Him and Tom Brady were the definition of.
I haven't seen Nico score a touchdown on a naked bootleg though. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Nico did beat Florida. I'm just saying.
He did.
I'm not comparing. Please, somebody do not clip that
until he gets Quentin Normandy sleeves. Then we'll start comparing.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's when it'll happen.
So that was kind of the most important for Marshall, but kind of a fail in the Pro Bowl for just.
Okay. I like that double up.
Just, I mean, it's just such a waste. I just don't get it at all.
What about I think Monty mentioned it earlier. What about the NBA trades?
Yeah, that's wild.
Is this good for our boy?
Honestly, don't know what it really means.
I don't
for Don't Connect.
Right.
I mean, I do think it helps that they are thinking about the future of the franchise. Whereas,
Sure.
if they're going to keep AD and LeBron and just get like role players around them like that, I mean, that wasn't going to do anything. So, I don't know if they're a contender this year with Luka, but I mean, I don't think up until recently they haven't been great. They are looking a lot better. I think they've won 8 of their last 10 games. But I don't know. I mean, you got rid of Max Christie and Jalen Hood-Schifino. Jalen Hood-Schifino didn't really do anything. Max Christie's okay. But you got a point guard, which you hadn't really had a point guard. Austin Reeves will be your shooting guard. Then you'll have Dorian Finney-Smith, Don't Connect, Rory Hachimura, and then LeBron at your forwards. Jared Vanderbilt probably too. Then Jackson Hayes will be your center. I don't know. I don't think it really affects his playing time. I mean, he's probably going to average 10 points a game, something like that. There's going to be nights where he probably scores 20. There's nights where he might score 5. So, yeah, I just think yeah, I think having a true point guard probably helps Dalton connect a little bit.
Yeah. Fair.
I know that kind of crowds the guard play a little bit, but no more than already was, I don't think. Because you lose Max Christie, who was playing as a guard. So,
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that trade's crazy, though. Absolutely wild.
in the first round, I can't believe the Mavs did it. That just seems like the dumbest thing they could have done.
No, yeah, that's the crazy part to me. Yeah.
And yeah, they had Kyrie, which is a point guard, which maybe they're just like, yeah, we need a big man and we can be a contender with Kyrie. I just think Luka's 25 and
yeah,
top 2, 3 player in the league probably.
Right.
So I don't know.
It's crazy.
It's good for both sides.
Maybe.
Another most important shout out, our friends Nick and Amy. They are expected to have their baby girl here pretty soon.
Heck yeah.
This week, maybe sooner. So shout out
The
to
way you
them.
said that, I thought I was just going to find out that they had her. So, okay.
Oh, okay.
Obviously still congrats, but I thought that was going to be.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it can be any time.
I thought that was going to be, I knew it was getting here, so I thought that was the announcement.
I did want to. I just
see-
got a Snapchat from Nick, and he was showing me his setup at the hospital. So
Yeah, looks comfortable.
yeah, have
It's a-
fun, buddy.
That's not a
good
cheap
thing-
stay either. So,
we call him Sleepy Nick. So
oh yeah, I mean, listen, I could sleep on one of those.
yeah.
Yeah, congrats. Yeah, I obviously still exciting, but yeah, I thought you were about to drop the news.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gonna be an uncle. Another one.
Yeah, I was like, maybe don't let Ren hear that one. You saved it. That was good. You can let Ren listen now. That's fine.
Yeah. She listens all the time.
Yeah, I know it's her. She's a scheduled listener. I mean, she's got it ready on Monday and Friday mornings.
Yeah. She knows what's best. All right. Any more? Most
No,
important?
that's all I got.
I got one more, and maybe we should do this at Thompson Bowling Arena. So Omaha men's basketball had they had the trashiest night in college basketball, where you bring anything but trash, I guess, that you can fill up your popcorn with.
Okay.
So everybody's like bringing trash cans and they fill up their popcorn in the trash cans and stuff like that. I think more of that.
Okay. Where did they put the trash cans when they went to their seats?
No, like everybody could bring their own trash can and they'd fill it up with popcorn.
Right. Where would they eat the popcorn at?
At their seat.
Where do you put the trash can when you're in your seat?
guess
I love the idea. I'm just logistically trying to work this one out.
What do you mean?
So they would bring your trash can from home, correct?
Yeah.
And then they would fill it up with popcorn so that they could eat the popcorn out of there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you put the trash can? That's a big item.
Well, it was like the smaller
Okay.
bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the recycling bin kind of.
Okay.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was imagining like a kitchen.
Or
trash
people are bringing
can.
like 5-gallon buckets.
See that one
Stuff
5-gallon
like that.
bucket. That one would be
Yeah.
smart because it also has the handle.
Yeah.
That's a smart move.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah,
I just
like
like
that.
they called it the trashiest night in college basketball. That sounds
I
awesome.
love that. Lean into it.
Yeah. All right. Any fails?
What was that Texas Tech one, which I'm glad I read up on? I would have looked real dumb knowing how everything went down. I need to watch the video. I'm going to get up here and watch the ejection.
There was another ejection in the Arizona State game. Did you see that? So it was BJ Freeman and Caleb Love. They get into it, and I guess the official sees them get into it, and they eject both of them. And then they go back and see that BJ Freeman headbutted Caleb Love.
Okay.
And that's why they got into it. But I guess, so they initially just ejected Caleb Love because they got in, I don't know, he was just mouthing and trying to go after this guy. And then they saw where he got headbutted and they ejected the other guy. That just makes, if you get headbutted, I think you can stay in the game. I don't think you should get ejected.
Okay.
Unless you obviously throw a punch, but there was no, he didn't get his hands on him or anything. He was just upset.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that. That seems wild that he got ejected based on your retelling of events.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, the tweet I said, it said Love was initially the one who was ejected, but after replay showed Freeman headbutted Love, Freeman was ejected as well. I'm like, how does that happen? But all right, anything else?
No, that's it for me.
Awesome. Guys, thank y'all for listening. If you get a chance, go check out hoviedrygoods.com. Hovie Dry Goods is our best sponsor. Love them to death. Love their hats. Go check them out at hoviedrygoods.com. Use promo code MORE for 15% off your first purchase. Also go check out roback.com. Use promo code MORE important issues for 20% off your first purchase there. And go check out some of those great sponsors we have in Hovie and Roback. Thank y'all again. Go Vols. We're all back in on basketball. We just needed that one on Saturday.
The ups and downs.
Yep. Yeah, we're just along for the ride. And so we'll see you back on Thursday talking about the Missouri game, and I'm sure much more NIL and transfer portal that we know nothing about. Thank y'all again. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.